so they can get out of the house and actually talk to someone. But of course, we all chat to our hairdressers, don't we? So are they the people that actually could be a lifeline for the people affected by domestic violence? There is a new campaign called Cut It Out. It's looking at training the hair and beauty industry to be more receptive to the hidden troubles of their clients, urging them to report violence and seek help. Well, let's talk to the hairstylist Nicky Clarke, who's getting involved in this, and Sergeant in the Thames Valley Violence Reduction Unit, as well as creator of this initiative, Claire Furness. Good to see you both this morning. Claire, why did you think that hairdressers actually were going to be a good avenue for people to reach out and ask for some help?
Well, I think having your hair done is a real personal service, and actually they're like therapists. So we understand that it's quite commonplace for people to make disclosures about their relationships and perhaps the unhealthy nature of those relationships. So with that in mind, I think it's really useful to support the professionals in that sense by providing them with some guidance and training around the subject of domestic abuse.
Yeah, Nicky, I mean, it almost, once it's presented, it seems like common sense, doesn't it? Because, well, you know, we talk to you guys about everything under the sun, so, you know, these sort of issues could come up.
Absolutely. I mean, it's quite extraordinary that you say it is a simple thing, and it is, because, you know, people do confide in their hairdressers. I mean, it's quite extraordinary. I think it's because they feel quite vulnerable with you know, wet hair and possibly no makeup. You know, hairdressers have taken on the place of, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say therapist all the time, but certainly as a confidant. And I think that this campaign is there to just try and be able to direct hairdressers to spot the signs and, you know, and to be able to direct them to the right people that are going to be able to help.
But so it's all about training, Nicky, then, because you wouldn't want to, you know, to put people in the spotlight where they don't quite know what to do or how to react. So how important is the training going to be for you and your team, for example?
Well, the training is going to be paramount. I mean, I'm on my way there now to see just, in fact, how this is going to be done and how I can help, you know, talk to my staff about it, but also really the whole of the industry really needs to just be made aware of it, and it may just be some very, very simple signs. So, you know, I'm going to learn a lot this morning myself, but as I say, it was a very, very simple idea, and of course we're in a perfect position to be able to help.
Yeah, so in terms of the training then, Claire, what are you putting forward? Is it about being able to say the right thing to those who are vulnerable, or point them in the right direction, all to alert services like the police?
Yeah, it's a combination of all of it, really. It's spotting the signs and symptoms of domestic abuse, because, of course, domestic abuse isn't just physical abuse. It's multifaceted. There are lots of things that happen in relationships, and it's pointing out those signs and symptoms and then being able to signpost those victims for support for the local charities and also those national charities as well.
How happy is the wrong word. How rewarding is it that you've got people like Nicky getting involved in this, which obviously gives the campaign a huge lift, and hopefully is going to get people across the country, hairdressers and beauticians, wanting to get involved in this?
Absolutely. I mean, it's so fantastic that Nicky has backed this. It's really taken it to that next level. I mean, my dream is for it to be mandated in the qualification, so that every student hairdresser that comes through has to go through this process of understanding those signs and symptoms, because essentially we're creating an army of eyes and ears within the community that can support statutory agencies like ourselves and those support charities both nationally and locally.
Would you like to see that, Nicky, so that this built into the curriculum, if you like?
You know, I don't think it's that far-fetched, actually. I mean, really, we're talking about people just being aware, and this is a national problem. And I think that, you know, it's interesting what Claire said. It's not always the physical signs, but it's that kind of mental abuse as well. And of course, we're not just talking about women here. You know, we're talking about men as well. So I think it's a really important aspect of what we do. And yes, I do hope it will be actually, you know, built in.
Yeah, Claire, can we talk about the male side of this? I mean, I know women are more victims. I think it's 1 in 4 women fall victim to this in some way, shape, or form. But it's about 1 in 6 men as well, which is still a significant number.
Absolutely, yeah. 1 in 6 men do suffer domestic abuse, but of course we know that there are so many more hidden victims within the male community out there. So that's really important for our barbers, for example, to get on board and do this training so that the awareness is there, so that they're able to safely signpost these men to services that are available both locally and nationally for them.
And once people do reach out, Claire, what support is available for them? I mean, because it's all about it's a very difficult step, isn't it, to move away from an abusive relationship.
Absolutely. Obviously, we have the statutory service, us, the police, that people can report to, but also those national agencies. You've got Women's Aid, Menkind. They would offer support and guidance around what to do next, those safe steps to take. There are a wealth of programs out there as well to kind of re-educate yourself on what a healthy relationship should look like, which I would implore any victim to kind of pursue, really.
It's refreshing, Nicky, that, I mean, you say you're off to do some training now. I always think it's really refreshing when someone, especially as established as you, turns around and says, I'm going to learn something new here, I'm going to make a difference.
You know, it's interesting. You know, it's something that, you know, I do feel quite strongly about. I mean, we hear about it on the news all the time, and actually this was just an opportunity for us to really do something about it. And, you know, we talked about building it into the curriculum. You know, these things should be part and parcel of how people behave in relationships. And I think, you know, certainly in lockdown, I think we've all had time to think quite carefully. And of course, we've seen an increase in that happen as well. So the timing couldn't be more apt.
Yeah, absolutely. Nicky and Claire, really good to see you both this morning. Thank you.